Day 2 of a 3-day wildcard weekend. We kick off with the Bills and Broncos. That's what we are here to discuss in this video, previewing this game with the Bills and Broncos. And it'll be in Buffalo, of course, as the Broncos are the last seed in the playoffs as the 7 versus the number 2 seed Buffalo Bills. Of course, if the Bills win this game, that'll set up a matchup with Baltimore next week in Buffalo. If the Broncos win, that would set up a matchup with the Broncos and Chiefs, as well as a rematch between the Texans and the Ravens. So Saturday, just a couple of AFC games. Not too bad. I don't think we went 1-1. I think the game script was a little bit off in game number 2 with, of course, Baltimore steamrolling Pittsburgh. Not as big of a second half, but not really needed either. I'm not gonna lie, I fell asleep in the fourth quarter, so it was 28-7, and I was done. And good day of action. I thought Baltimore watching that offense run. I mean, that's a machine right there. 13 carries on 13 plays, touchdown. I don't know. We're gonna get more into it on the podcast that I will talk about on Monday, tomorrow, I guess, before we get to the Monday night game. But again, we are here to preview Broncos versus Bills, and I'm going to get into the exact same stuff that I got into yesterday. We're going to go over the betting lines. We're going to go over the injury report. We're going to kind of go over my prediction. And this might be the most interesting game of the weekend just because there's so many different ways that it could happen. So let's get straight into this. Let's start with this injury report. And the Denver Broncos will come in. Frank Crum, offensive tackle, is out with an illness. Tyler Beatty, with a back injury, is questionable. You had a few full participants in Nate Atkins, Damari Mathis, Ben Powers. Ben Powers just getting some rest. So Frank Crum, who was an undrafted rookie offensive tackle, has been a healthy scratch throughout the season, so his absence may not heavily impact the Broncos. Tyler Beatty, questionable status, is something to monitor, as his return could bolster Denver's backfield depth. Meanwhile, Damari Mathis' full participation provides stability in the secondary. So, big-time injury report for Denver right there. They're not going to really be hampered too much from anything on this list. And the Bills aren't either, though. I mean, and you will see on your screen, I'm not even going to read out all the full participants, but Brandon Codrington, kick returner, hamstring injury. Bills seem relatively healthy into the wildcard game. Brandon Cordington's hamstring injury raises concerns about the return game, but their starters, including Amari Cooper and Matt Milano, are ready to go. So that is big for the Buffalo Bills, especially with Matt Milano. This defense has not played well in the playoffs historically in the last 5-6 years, or however long of the Josh Allen era, and has really broke down in the postseason. So that will be interesting to see, because this is such an interesting matchup when it comes to the numbers. And we're going to get into some of those numbers and stuff. But again, just a fascinating matchup, and I think a bad matchup for the Bills, really. All right, so first things first that I would like to point out, really, is Denver's offense versus Buffalo's defense. Buffalo's defense has been pretty good, or looked pretty good, although they are 29th in the league on third down, which I don't think bodes well, especially with Sean Payton going to be able to, really scheme up and draw up some things for this Broncos offense. And again, kind of what I said in the, Ravens Steelers review of, I honestly think the Broncos might be more dangerous than the Bengals. The Bengals think they're dangerous. I think that the Broncos are more dangerous because you have a young rookie quarterback. We saw C.J. Stroud last year. You don't have a ton of film on him. You're still within the same season where he just debuted. I mean, he has got a chance to do something crazy here. And just with Sean Payton, the way that defense is played, they're an interesting team, I think, for sure. 21.6 points per game that the Bills have allowed. That's 11th. But they are third in turnovers. So really the turnovers is what's helping the Buffalo Bills, kind of disguise their defense to be a lot better than what it is. I don't think the Bills' defense is as good, just looking at the numbers, as what people think, just because they get a lot of turnovers. So if you go a game not getting any turnovers, if Bo Nix doesn't turn over the ball, now that's another key factor in this game, is does Bo Nix turn the ball over? And very much could. But the way the Broncos, keep from getting Bo pressured, I think is huge as well. 24.9% on quarterback pressure uh, rate, and that is first in the league. So they're only allowing pressure on Bo Nix roughly 25% of the time. That's absolutely great, especially against some of these amazing defenses. Then you look at the Denver offense. You're looking at Cortland Sutton, who put up 1,081 yards, 8 touchdowns. Marvin Mims, who has back-to-back games with 2 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks, which, against the Chiefs B squad, I don't know if that's, a huge accomplishment. But the fact of the matter is Marvin Mims is very hot right now. Buffalo Bills gave up a 100.2 rate to wide receivers. That's 26th in the league this year. And Bo Nix relies on his wide receivers. That's going to be huge. And then when you flip it around to the Buffalo Bills offense versus the Denver Broncos defense, you have the number one team versus tight ends in the entire league. Also with the Denver defense. Now here's some stats that's going to make Bills Mafia feel a little bit better. Denver Broncos, well, let me get through a couple of them first. The Denver Broncos have allowed 18.3 points per game. That's third in the league. Very stout defense. 63 sacks is first in the league from the Denver Broncos, but blitz percentage is the third highest in the league. Josh Allen against the blitz, 16 touchdowns, 1 interception. He has been exceptional. Now, I go back to that tight end stat real quick because Dalton Kincaid was the number 2 targeted receiving option for the Buffalo Bills in 2024, right behind Khalil Shakir. So the Buffalo Bills, they rely on their tight end heavy, which that really works out in Denver's favor. This matchup really I don't think is great for Buffalo. I think this is about the worst possible matchup that Buffalo could have had in the opening round against the Denver Broncos. And the Broncos are sneaky. Say what you will. And again, we can debate all day Bengals versus Broncos, who is more scary as a team. I just think with the defense that the Denver Broncos have, the way they've played, and especially the way they played towards the end of the season, and having Sean Payton as a head coach, I mean, you have a lot more going for you, I think, if you're the Denver Broncos. I mean, if we're comparing Zach Taylor to Sean Payton, I mean, Sean Payton, Zach Taylor, I mean, if we're being honest. But either way, we're talking about the Bills versus Broncos. I do think this is a bad matchup for the Buffalo Bills. Now, will that translate to success for the Denver Broncos, as in winning this game? I don't know. But I do think it's a bad matchup for the Bills. I think it's a bad matchup for the Chiefs. I think the Broncos are just a bad matchup for a lot of teams in this postseason. So let's get into the betting numbers now and betting lines like we did yesterday in our previous 2 games. So we are looking at a spread that is -8.5 for Buffalo. I do kind of think Denver will cover. 8.5 points. I mean, that's obviously Buffalo is heavily favored, and they should be. But I do think the Broncos have a shot to cover. And everybody picked Buffalo, but there were some close scores, at least on NFL.com, except Adam Rank. Shout out to Adam Rank. If you know, you know. Man is always going against the grain every time. Broncos versus Bills over-under is 48 points. Now, that's an interesting one because I could see that one going either way. I think for Denver to win, it's going to have to be a lower scoring game. But after yesterday, I don't know if I'm ready to go with the under again. If you saw yesterday, I mean, they were close, but the over hit in both games, and I want to say I had the under in both of them. I don't know. You can go back and watch the videos from the preview. But Denver Broncos 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games. Meanwhile, the Bills are 10-7 against the spread this season. So, with all of that being said, let's get to my prediction and talk this through. I think it will be a struggle. I think each drive is going to be a struggle for both teams. I think Denver's going to make it very hard on Buffalo. I think Buffalo will still be able to score points. I think Denver will be able to score more points than what some people may think. And I don't know if I'm ready to go out on a limb and say Denver is going to win this game, but Denver will keep this game close, I do believe. So with that being said, I'm going to go with a score prediction of 31-27. Buffalo wins. Denver covers the spread. We're going over on the over-under, and that is my prediction. Again, I think that it's going to stay close throughout the game. I think Denver is going to make a lot of things difficult for Buffalo. I don't think that I think Bo Nix will rise to the occasion. I don't think Bo Nix is going to turn the ball over a lot. I think the Broncos offense is going to be, very well run on Sunday. I do think that, they'll be able to put up some points on this Buffalo defense, but I don't think that it will be enough for the Broncos to win. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts, your predictions. Are you going over? Are you going under in this game? What are you guys thinking? Let me know. Smash that like button for me. Hit the subscribe button. We're still on the road to 300 subscribers. Really enjoy getting out here and talking football with you guys and hearing your thoughts on these games as well, and just kind of, growing a community here on YouTube. Still working towards, growing here in 2025. Very excited. Also, check out that gaming channel if you're into gaming. The link is below in the description. And until this next video, we will see you in the Packers and Eagles preview.